The last show before Auburn and Kentucky in Lexington. And, every time Auburn comes up short in one of these games, Zach, the next one gets exponentially more important. Like
Sure.
if you're going to turn it around, you can still go to a bowl game. You can still garner some momentum for the rest of the season, but you're running out of chances to start that process. So time to get it done in Lexington. The question is, can Auburn beat Kentucky? And I think we both agree that they can.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Anybody who says Auburn doesn't have a shot in this game, I don't know what team they've been watching. I mean, they're close. This team's close. We went over the stats behind it on yesterday's show. And I mean, it's kind of hard to argue with that. Auburn's moving the football as far as yards per play. And the defense is slowing the opposing offenses down. It's just they can't close, and they haven't figured out how to win as a program yet.
Yeah, I think somebody on Instagram, we put the reel up with that discussion yesterday, and somebody said, yeah, but those things you're talking about are just stats. What's really missing is, being able to make the play. And it's like, yeah, that's kind of that's the whole point of the discussion.
Like, welcome to class.
Yeah, that is. And all it does take is one time. So, what I thought was interesting is I look at Kentucky's schedule this year, and of course the high point of their year was the upset over Ole Miss, and they limited Ole Miss to 17 yards. Or 17, that would be really impressive.
That'd be insane.
17 points. Way below their season average. Then they came off of a bye week, lost to Vandy, lost to Florida, 48-20. Okay. That was a 3-touchdown game before they gave up a pick 6 in the fourth quarter, like with 3.5 minutes to go. But Florida hit, I think DJ Lagway hit 4 or 5 passes of 40 or more yards. What's Auburn's calling card offensively this year? If it ain't consistency on long drives, it's what? Big plays.
Yeah, big plays.
Big plays. So obviously Kentucky's going to try to correct what gave up those big plays. But if you look for a recipe for a victory on the road in Lexington, that's it. Big plays. Cam Coleman, KLS, Malcolm Simmons. Missouri did a pretty good job against Keandre Lambert-Smith defensively. They limited him really the way nobody has this year.
Sure.
Can Kentucky do that? I don't know.
Kentucky's strength on defense seems to be more their front seven than their corners and guys on the edges. So I do think that's the mismatch. If Auburn's going to move the football, and if Auburn's going to score, what's the number? We said 20 points yesterday. That's kind of the magic number, we think. If they're going to do that, I think they're going to have to do it through passing the football. And what's going to be interesting to me is because I do think Auburn is going to be able to move the ball between the 20s. What happens when the field shortens and the passing attack it's a little tougher to pass in the red zone? And you say, hey, we got to run the ball. And we believe in Jarquez Hunter, the player. As far as the situation goes, like when you key in on stopping Auburn's rushing attack, folks have been able to, or at least Missouri was, and Missouri's rush defense wasn't that good. So was that a one-off? I don't know. Kentucky's defensive front seven is good. They're really good at rushing the passer as well as stopping the run. So I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued to see what Auburn's game plan is going to be. I think you nailed it. I think they're going to try to stretch the field vertically and hope for the big play. And I think they'll get a few. I really do. Will it be enough? I don't know.
Yeah, we'll get to that at the end of the Village Vice 6-pack to our predictions on the game. But against these guys, especially because they have just a couple of mountains in the middle of the defensive line, I don't know how much you soften them up running up the middle for your deep shot. One of my favorite plays last week against Missouri was the swing pass to Jarquez. He got 18 yards on it up the right sideline. I love him in those one-on-one matchups outside the hashes.
Sure.
He's either going to make a guy miss, break a tackle, or a combination of those.
Well, and to be fair, like you probably like most running backs in that situation. I mean, think about it. I mean, this is a position group that's used to, running where there's a bunch of bodies and they're getting hit and they're just trying to fall forward and gain 4 yards on most plays. And all of a sudden you get them in space, which is the job of an offensive coordinator or a play caller, is to get them in space. And all of a sudden, you put your players into situations and positions to succeed. Yeah. I mean, I'd like Jeremiah Cobb in that role. I'd like Damari Alston in that role. But obviously, Jarquez Hunter's the best back on this team. So
no, you made the point. Yeah, you made the point perfect. I'd love Damari and Jeremiah in that spot as well. And we've seen Jeremiah throughout the last year and a half do some things. He's had limited touches in the passing game, but he generally makes things happen. So I like the corners and linebackers and have to cover outside the hashes, and then you draw them in and take your shots downfield. I like that a lot.
Can I make an observation real quick?
Sure.
I like black t-shirt Brad Law. I like it.
Thanks, Zach.
All right.
I appreciate it. I like Roback quarter zip black Auburn hat Zach Blackerby.
Yeah. Hey, and you can get this very pullover at roback.com. RHOBACK.com. We talk about them all the time. This is I wear them. Brad wears his as well. I love the quarter zips. The quarter zip is such a go-to fashion, especially this time of year where it's like, it doesn't matter what you're wearing under it. You're going to look nice. And it's like, it's not too much. You're not going to be too dressy, but everybody's also like, oh, he's got a quarter zip. He's good, but Roback has the best quarter zips in the business, as well as the performance hoodies. And of course their collared shirts and pants and shorts and hats as well. So head over to roback.com. They've got a ton of things to pick from, including a game day collection featured Auburn stuff. So go check that out and use promo code VICE20 for 20% off your purchase. We don't want you paying full price. Promo code VICE20 at roback.com.
All right. I'm not going to go the holiday route this time. I'm going to tell you that Auburn basketball games are a social event now. And with basketball season coming up soon, you want to be wearing your Roback when you show up at Neville Arena. Or Toyota Center in Houston or Atlanta or Birmingham or wherever else they're playing.
That's right. Basketball is a social event now. I love that.
It is, though.
Yeah, you're right.
No question.
You're right.
Okay. Village Vice 6-pack. You want to go ahead and get into this?
Sure.
All right. You're going to be all over me, I think.
You pick the Troy game?
No, I'm not picking a Troy game. Boy,
okay.
In-state teams, by the way. In-state teams, not a great year.
What was the stat you told me yesterday after we were done recording? You remember?
Yeah, I saw this. Alabama, Auburn, UAB are a combined 2-10, I think, in the month of
the last 5 weeks.
October,
I think it's what
the last 5 weeks. Yeah,
2-10 over the last 5 weeks. That's crazy.
That's bad. That's rough. Time to turn it around.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna start with. Don't laugh. I'm gonna start.
You always do a great job picking these games. I don't know why I would laugh.
Boise State at UNLV.
This is a great pick. You nailed this. Friday night game. To me, this game and the time that it's being played is why Ashton Jeanty will not win the Heisman.
Well, that and he hadn't played a schedule worthy of winning the Heisman. But that's an it's funny. I've had like 3 or 4 raging discussions about this just within the office, and I'm the exception rather than the rule. No, but you got 17th ranked Boise State. They're 5-1. They are 3.5-point favorites on the road at UNLV, 6-1.
Yeah, UNLV's good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Barry Odom, former Missouri coach, former Arkansas defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
He is there. Give me UNLV at home.
Wow. I like that pick. It's a Friday night super late kick.
Yeah.
Starts at like 9:30 Central Time or something like that. It's like your Heisman front runner or a top 3 player in the Heisman race is playing Friday night at 9:30.
Mm-hmm.
It's bad. That's a bad look. You can't flex this game. The Mountain West can't flex this game.
No, they want this because it's not going to go up against anything else on a Saturday that you're going to want to.
I think Ashton Jeanty could. I think you could bill it as something, but whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, Friday night football, like college football, is so unserious to me. It's so unserious to me. You get 2 or 3 games a year, maybe, where it's like, okay, we need to move our Friday evening schedule around to watch this.
Yeah.
This one's close.
This is one of them.
It's close.
But you don't have to move that much around if it's at 9:30.
Yeah, my kids are in bed, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, there's some Friday nights where I'm like, honey, we need to wear the kids out a little bit more and put them to bed at like 6 so we can watch 6:30 kick. I got plenty of time. I may be in bed by then. Who knows? I'm taking Boise State just because I think they're going to choose to ride Jeanty, because why not? And I think over the course of 4 quarters, I think they get it done. So, but yeah, I love that you picked this game. I'm not being sarcastic. I think you nailed this.
Oh, Yeah. Okay, good. I think they're going to ride Genty too, but I think that UNLV's defense will have spent all week scheming to try and stop him and slow him down. I'm very intrigued by the game, so we'll see how that turns out. You know, a lot of the other like there's like 5 ranked on ranked games Saturday. None of them are all that close though in terms of point spread, which means that they on paper shouldn't be all that compelling. So
yeah, like you've got like Notre Dame's Notre Dame's like a 2-touchdown favorite against Navy. Alabama's a big favorite over Missouri. Illinois is like a 20-point dog at Oregon. Like, it's like they're ranked, but what? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, Missouri. It's too bad that Noel and Cook are both probably not going to play in that game for Missouri. Like, I realize that this is not Alabama. It's like it's CBS Cosby, not NBC, The Cosby Show in Tuscaloosa these days. But you know, it's not the same. But they ought to be able to handle Missouri easily, especially without their quarterback and backup running back.
Sure.
Let me give you this one. How about 11th ranked undefeated BYU going into the bounce house in Orlando against 3 and 4 UCF? You say, Brad, how big of a favorite is BYU?
They're a dog.
They're a dog. UCF is a 2.5-point favorite in this game. I love Gus, but give me BYU.
Yeah, I mean, Vegas is begging you. Our friends at MyBookie are begging you.
Yeah.
Begging you to take BYU. And I'm going to. I'm taking BYU. BYU is the most underranked team in the top 25 poll right now. They're exceptional. They're exceptional. And they'll just line up and beat the crap out of you. They're going to go across the country. And I think they put it on UCF.
Yep, I agree. They'll wear you down, more physical, tougher at the line of scrimmage. And I think it's an area probably where UCF could be better, especially offensively on the line of scrimmage. So, yep, I like BYU there. Okay. All right, let's do, just for fun, let's do the line. I think our friends at MyBookie have Texas an 18.5-point favorite at Vanderbilt. 5-2 Vandy. Number 25 Vandy. Everybody's darling Vandy. Do they cover the 18.5?
No.
You don't think so?
I don't think they do.
Boy.
I don't think they do. I do think it's close at halftime. There's going to be a point where I think the dam breaks. Vandy's exciting because they're in the games where they've won where they shouldn't have. They've kept the ball for so long.
Yeah.
Which is great. That's great.
It's a great strategy if you can pull it off.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to be able to do that against Texas. Texas, I mean, you look at the Longhorns and you look at Sark, and it's easy to think about, man, they've got, Quinn Ewers and all these receivers and an explosive offense. And it's easy to look past the talent they have on the defensive side of the football. It's just a different world. It's a different tier of football than what Vandy has from a talent perspective.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're going to be able to do their upset special type offense against Texas.
Okay.
This is my gut reaction.
I don't think they're going to win the game, but I think they'll keep it under the 18.5.
Okay.
Because I think they'll be able to keep it long enough for that. Texas in SEC games has scored 35, and against Michigan. Let's throw Michigan in there too. They're not in the SEC, but I wish they were. So against those teams, 31, 35, 34, and 15 points. So, low 30s.
Mm-hmm.
I think Vandy can keep them a touchdown under that. So 27 or so. And I think Vandy can get 10. I think they can keep it long enough to get 10. Diego Pavia is taking punishment, though. How much longer can he take the punishment that he's taken week after week?
Yeah, I mean, he seems like a pretty tough dude. I don't know. It's not Pavia I'm worried about. It's the rest of the team.
Yeah.
That I'm kind of worried about. So
no, that's fair. LSU, Texas A&M, the two unbeaten teams in the conference. Lines down to 1 for A&M. It started about 2.5 earlier this week. So a lot of people taking LSU. Texas A&M at home, they're going to try to pound it, run it. LSU's going to try to throw it with Nussmeier.
Yeah.
So it's a lot like their game last week. LSU's against Arkansas, except Texas A&M is better than Arkansas.
Yeah. I think I trust LSU more.
Mm-hmm.
I don't love that it's in College Station from that point of view.
Yeah.
But I am going to take LSU in this one. Brian Kelly's weirdly become decent in big games at LSU. and we're all kind of ignoring that.
It's almost like he's evolved as a head coach over time. And yeah.
Anywhere else you want to go with that?
Sure. Of course, his talent's better and all that's, but his offensive line is great. 2 years ago, he brought in those offensive linemen and played them a bunch as freshmen. And now they're juniors.
And now they're good.
Now they can close games. Now they can lean on people in the fourth quarter.
So you're saying when a team plays a lot of freshmen at key positions early and they stay
and develop,
and 2 years later, they're a playoff contender?
Yeah. This is a big statement game for LSU. If they win this game, you got to start talking. Then they get a week off before they host Alabama. So,
yeah, if LSU wins, I think if either team wins, they're probably going to the playoff unless a total collapse happens.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, LSU schedules Alabama, Florida, Vandy, Oklahoma. Texas A&M is South Carolina, New Mexico State, Auburn, and Texas. You're right. I think the winner of this game is very secure about a playoff spot.
So the interesting thing about A&M, if they win this game,
I'm taking them, by the way. I'm taking A&M at home.
It's not a bad pick. This is true toss-up in my world. So, I think it's great. But if they win this game and then they lose to Texas last week of the season, there's other variables of this. But let's say they miss out on going to Atlanta to play the SEC championship game. I think it helps them.
I agree.
Because they won't get that third loss.
Well, yeah, we said back when this playoff format was announced and when the lack of, when the divisions went by the wayside in the league, that being the third team in the conference is probably a benefit.
Yes. And it's going to be super interesting to see how they treat the loser of the conference championship game.
Yeah.
With an extra loss versus the third and fourth team in the SEC. Yeah. It's going to be fascinating.
We've seen
they're in a lose-lose situation regardless of what they do.
We've seen the SEC tournament in basketball. It doesn't hurt you, really. Your performance in the conference tournament doesn't hurt you. I would think that your performance in the SEC championship game wouldn't hurt you, but we'll see. This is the experiment.
There's some precedent set with TCU losing to K-State in the Big 12 championship a few years ago.
Yeah, that was with a four-teamer.
Yeah. Yeah. And so there wasn't any discussion of the other, the third team in the Big 12 being considered or whatever. Right. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting.
All right. A couple left, two left. One of them's Auburn. One is number 22, SMU playing at Duke. Both teams are 6-1. SMU could kind of, plant a flag in the ACC discussion. Rhett Lashley at SMU the last 2 years.
Money.
Is 17-4. He ain't lost a game in the ACC in 2 years.
Well, they weren't in the ACC last year.
No, I'm sorry. In their conference. You're right. They were in the
So that is true, though.
But
I mean, you could argue they've never lost an ACC game.
They ain't ever lost an ACC game. Yeah. But they're 11-0.
Imagine Rhett Lashley losing in the ACC. I can't do it.
That's a good
I can't
point.
do it.
Okay. They're 11-0 in their last conference games, though.
This game is interesting. And then the game from last night is interesting because there's so much talk in the ACC about Clemson and Miami. And rightfully so, they deserve it. But Pitt and SMU are breathing down their neck right now. And I think that line is slimmer than kind of what public perception probably is. So, this is a good one. I'm taking SMU. I take them to cover. They're a really good football team.
They're 11.5-point favorite, and next week they play Pitt. SMU Pitt, if they can get by Duke on the road, and I think they can. I like SMU here.
Yep.
So we're both taking the Mustangs. That game against Pitt next week, very intriguing. Now let's get down to it. Auburn and Kentucky. MyBookie.ag, by the way, sponsors Village Vice. They bring you every episode. Use the promo code NEXTROUND to double your initial deposit at MyBookie.ag. You can play this game tomorrow. You can get involved and really close out your football season the right way with our friends at MyBookie.ag.
And I want to stress, you can use MyBookie anywhere.
Yeah.
Anywhere.
That's right. 2.5 points. Kentucky is a 2.5-point favorite. What do you think?
I think that line is solid. I think it makes sense. And I think Kentucky covers.
Okay. I do not. I think Auburn wins the game outright. I'm not going to come on here and say something else. I mean, it's not a shock, but I mean, I don't think I'm having a stretch too far.
I don't think you are either.
They're also down their starting running back in the game. So do they rely on the pass even more, or do they try their second and third string running back and let them carry the load? Can Auburn make big plays? Can Auburn, stay out of 1st and 15 or 2nd and 13?
Yeah, so like the Kentucky being down there starting running back, whatever, that's great and all for Auburn. I don't think this is about when Kentucky has the football. Like, I don't think that's what's going to decide this game. They're going to slowly get points over the course of the game. It's just will the Auburn offense be able to keep up with them is my question.
Yeah.
Or does the Auburn offense do something dumb, and whether it's an ill-timed turnover or, you're not realizing where you are on the field, and, maybe you do something you shouldn't do. I'm banking this more on like, can Auburn go a full 60 minutes on offense without hurting themselves?
Mm-hmm.
And in a game where I think points are going to be hard to come by, that's just not a great situation to be in. Now, you could say the same thing about Kentucky.
Yeah.
But Kentucky has won a big game this year. They went to Oxford and won. Auburn hasn't done that yet. So that's kind of my thought. Until Auburn does it, I don't think I can trust them. I can't pick them. I can't pick them until they do it, Brad.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Look, in conference games, Kentucky has scored 6, 12, 20, 13, and 20 points in their conference games. So, and I think turnovers do play a factor in some way. Both teams have a negative turnover margin for the year. So who gets that turnover on the other team's side of the 50 and does something with it? You better expect a close game in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
Expect a close game. All right.
Can you wear black T-shirts more often?
Well, I only have the one. I can get some more. Does Roback have black? I'm sure Roback has black.
I'm sure.
I'm going to go look today. I'm going to look today for a Roback black T-shirt just because you like it so much.
You look so great. You'll always look great, but it's just like, oh no, there's an extra like oomph to it. We're all about the extra oomph here.
We are. That should be our new motto.
Have a great weekend of watching college football, everyone. Brad, travel safely to Lexington. What's your favorite thing to do in Lexington?
Win football games.
There we go. That does it for today's show.
It does. Thanks, everybody, for watching and subscribing and commenting on the show. We'll read them all. That's for sure. Remember, until next time, everyone has vices. Everyone has vices. Make sure Village Vice is one of yours.